All right, shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, Shalom Yom. With Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai being the true name of the Lord and Savior of the nation of Israel, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who teach one these last days, and who are the true leaders of the nation of Israel, whether you conceive it or not, who told me it's 100% truth. And also want to say peace and blessing to the Lord's elect. All right, this is Brother Mashal. Come back at you with a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, representing the Cleveland Church of Great Millstone. I want to say Thawadi Yahweh Bashim Yashai for giving the spirit and having the mercy for allowing me to do this lesson. And the title of this lesson will be marriage. All right, now we have an idea of what the worldly sense of marriage is, but biblically, it's a totally different way of life. It's a totally different operation. Okay, Esau has his own ideas and philosophies about what marriage is and stuff like that. But when you look at it biblically, it has, the biblical marriage has nothing to do with how Esau gets down. Esau makes you, sign contracts and, has to go through him, and all this other stuff. And a man and a man can marry, a man and a dog can marry, a woman and a frog can marry, all this confusion that Esau breeds. All right. But the scriptures tell us what marriage is and how sacred marriage is and how serious it is. All right. We see nowadays marriage is more so a business proposal, right? You got some women out here that'll use marriage to try to come up. They'll be married for a certain period of time, and then all of a sudden they'll just file for divorce because of quote unquote unhappiness, and then they get alimony, child support, things like that, without anything happening. Okay, so we see how flawed Esau's system is, but the scriptures give us a different perspective on what marriage is supposed to be. Okay. So we're gonna get this photo because one of the brothers had put this in the chat, and I wanted to build a little lesson off of this. So this is what marriage is supposed to be biblically. All right. So we have different instances, right? You have a man and a woman, right? What is this? What did the scripture say about Adam and Eve? That they shall join together and become one flesh. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that you're only supposed to have one wife? No. Okay, when a man and a woman comes together, they become one flesh. But then if a man decides to be with another woman and marry that another woman, they become one flesh. Okay, so when you read Genesis, the second chapter, and it talks about Adam and Eve coming together, it's not just one woman. Okay, because there's many instances of men having multiple wives. Okay, that's a lawful act, and those type of things are going to happen in the kingdom of heaven, and also on this side. Okay, but what did the Apostle Paul say? He said, all in it was that First Corinthians, that all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. Okay, all things are lawful, including multiple wives. Right, but really, is it really? Can you take that on in this captivity? Certain brothers can, but a lot of brothers can't. All right. It's not as important to have multiple wives right now. All right. So we got man and woman, right? Then we have man, woman, and concubines. Okay, so you have a man, a woman, and his basically a side piece. Okay, a side piece. So you have different men that had wives and concubines. It says Abraham had 2 concubines. Gideon. Okay, it says that Gideon had many wives in Judges the 8th chapter. Nahor, Jacob, right? Jacob had Rachel and Leah as wives, and then Bilhah and I forgot the other handmaid's name. Salakia. Let me get that real quick. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. Genesis 30. Okay, so you got Bilhah. And Zilpah, Salakia. So Zilpah was Leah's handmaid, and Bilhah was Rachel's handmaid. All right. So we see the how what the scriptures allow, right? So then you go down a little bit and it says another form of marriage is a man, a woman, and the woman's property. Okay, because those are considered handmaids. You see, this woman is in chains and bonds because when you have and back in the day, women had wives had servants, right, that helped around the house or helped wherever the man's wife see fit or saw fit. All right. So it says a man could acquire his wife's property, including her slaves. Okay, handmaids. All right, because that's what's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. You know, we all have this picture of everybody skipping joyfully and being all one in the kingdom of heaven with one big gate. Well, that's a whole fallacy, man. That's a whole lie. Okay, the Israelites are going to reign supreme, right? The Israelite man is going to be where the Lord originally put him at. Okay, the divine order in 1 Corinthians the 11th chapter, right? The first is Yahweh, then Yahweh Shai, then the man, then the woman, then the child. All right. Okay, then we got another form of marriage, right? It says a man, a woman, another woman, and another woman. Now, does this mean that they're all having one big orgy and having this, freakism? No. Okay, because a man is allowed to accumulate wives as long as he's able to take care of them, right? What does it say in the scriptures? Raiment shall not diminish. It's like it. Bear with me, Baba Kasha. Exodus 21 and verse 10. It says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So see, it's a law. If a man takes another wife, the things that he was doing for his first wife can't decrease if he decides to take another wife. Okay, so the same things that you were doing for your first wife is the same things you have to keep doing if you decide to take another wife. Okay, and people are so up in arms about a man having multiple women, when back in the day the households were good. The households were ran like a well-oiled machine. Everybody helped each other out. Okay, it was no I'm a single mother and I don't have no help. No, with a man having multiple wives, they all helped. Why? Because they all understood. They all served one man. So the household was always good. A lot of women don't want to share a man with another woman, but women is going especially the Israelite women is going through hell. Raising children, especially these badass children, and they can't really raise them right. You know what I'm saying? Because the system is raising our children. Women have to work. They can't really mold the child in the way that they should go. You know what I'm saying? Because the majority of the time, the child is spending more, more time with other people. Okay, but back in the day, women were took care of the homes. Right, women made sure that the household was good. Your dwelling was clean, right? The food was cooked. Your clothes wasn't torn and sewn. right? The scripture says in Proverbs 31 about a virtuous woman that she works well with her hands. And the saying in the world is that it takes a village to raise a child, right? So women work together, especially which, if you want to call it, sister wives, right? They work together. They weren't envious of one another, right? So if a man takes another wife, the things that he was doing for his first wife can't diminish, right? So this is why you see a man with more than one woman right here, right? So David had many wives. Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. All right, Esau had multiple wives from Canaan when his ass was supposed to do that, right? Jacob. All right, so let's keep going. What else type of marriage do we have? We have a man and a brother's widow. Okay, now what happens when a man dies and his wife and he doesn't have any seed? The woman is supposed to marry her brother, her husband's brother, so that way she can continue her deceased husband's lineage, the name, right? And you can read it says in Genesis 36. Right? What did the Apostle Paul say? He said that in Romans, the 7th chapter, I believe. Romans 7:1, it says, "Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law." And see, and this is a point I want to make. When the Apostle Paul was writing these epistles, right, to these different churches, he was speaking to those that knew the law, that understood the law. So his verbiage wasn't confounding to them as it was to these people right now, Christianity, because they the first thing they do is run to Paul's epistles, right? And they make all these different doctrines about what Paul said, when even the Apostle Peter said in 2 Peter the 3rd chapter that the some of Paul's writings be difficult to be understood, and that would lead to people's destruction. Okay, so the Apostle Paul was writing these epistles to men that knew the law. All right, continuing on, it says, "How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth." Okay, so we're always going to be required to keep the law as best as we can. Verse 2, it says, "For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so as long as he liveth." Okay, so when a woman is married to a man, she's bound to that man. Okay, when this is why it was imperative to be a virgin. When you got married, when you were espoused. Okay, because why? Because when a man breaks the hymen and a woman bleeds and you have the sheet under it as a token of I forgot what it was. It's basically a token of showing that this woman is a virgin. The blood is on the sheet. They show the blood to the parents, like, hey, okay, that's cool. You're a virgin. You know what I'm saying? Oh, cool, we got it. But that's a form of a covenant, because why? All the Lord's covenants require what? A blood offering. Okay, and when the woman breaks her hymen and she starts bleeding, that's what it's called, the token of her virginity. All right, that's what happens. Okay, in the ancient world. All right, but it says, but if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law. Hold on, Slaki, 1 second.
All right, boss.
All right, appreciate it, man. Have a good one. All right. Yes, Slaki, I just got my paperwork. But it says, but if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. You see, so this is where we get right here, where if the husband dies, then she's required to marry her husband's brother in order to keep the man's name and lineage going. Okay, because back then your name represented something. It meant something. Okay, in this society, your name means nothing now, man. Unless you're an elite banker. You know? And plus our names is our slave masters' names. The majority of us. 90% of us. Okay, so we have no name here. But back then our lineage was important. All right? So now let's get to the controversy, man. It's always a controversy about this. The next one. This is marriage right here. Okay, a man seizing his victim. Okay, so it says grapist and his victim, but when we look at grape right now, we see violence. We see somebody beating a woman up and choking her to all that weird stuff, man. But scripturally, when you read the law, right, in Deuteronomy 28, 22, we're about to go there. It just means to seize or take hold. Okay, so what happened when you did this, right? If a man decided to take a woman, okay, or to seize a woman, because people you got to use choice words, because people be all up in their feelings, man. When the scriptures give you a answer to everything, okay, because grape happened back in the ancient times, man. All right, so it says a virgin who is graped must marry her grapist. It says the rapist must pay the victim's father 50 shekels of silver for property loss. Okay, and women were looked at as property. Okay, and this is why when a woman is raised, she has the name of her father, the last name of her father, because while she's under the household of her father, she's the property of her father. This is why. The scriptures talk about a shameless daughter in the Apocrypha in Sirach, the 26th chapter, to keep her in straitly. Right? Don't give liberty for a woman to gad abroad. All right? So then when a woman has her husband's, her father's last name, she's the property of her husband. I mean, the property of her father. Okay, but then when she leaves her father and joins herself to her husband, and they become one flesh, what happens? Now she leaves her father's last name, and now she takes on her husband's last name. And we see, this is why we see in the modern times a lot of women take the last name of the husband, because now that ownership is passed on from the father to the husband. All right, and it is what it is. You take it how you want to, man. Okay, in the ancient world, women were looked at as properties. That's why it was important for a woman to be a virgin. Because why? Because the father would basically try to sell her off to the highest bidder, I guess you could say. That's why it was important for a man to keep a good name. Because when you had that good name, then other men that were more wealthy or what have you saw your name being renowned and be like, all right, I want to take your daughter as a wife. Because with that marriage comes what? An inheritance. So when a man seizes a woman, the man was forced to pay 50 shekels of silver. Okay, and 50 shekels of silver is a lot of money. He wasn't just going around just taking advantage of women, man. Right? Let's get to Deuteronomy 22 real quick. Deuteronomy 22. Let's see. In 22, it says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to one husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel. Okay, so this is when if a woman is married and she decides to step out, both of them was put to death. Okay, because the woman committed adultery, and so did the man. Only time a man can commit adultery is if he lays with a married woman. Now, a married man can lay with an unmarried woman. That's not adultery. That's just him taking on another wife. Okay, because it's why? Because that's part of the law. A man is allowed to I'm gonna just say it, spread his loins. Okay, the more wives you had, it was a sign of a higher status. Okay, because you're able to take care of them. So if a woman was married and she decided to lay with a man, she got put to death, and that man, because they both committed adultery. Right? Verse 23, it says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. Okay, and betrothed meaning engaged. Okay, before a woman lays with her fiance, quote unquote. Okay, just like what happened with Mary and Joseph, right? It says that before they came together, they they were Mary was found with child. What does can't come together mean? Meaning consummate the marriage. Okay, and what's the consummation? Okay, the consummation is first and foremost the act of penetration. Okay, but you had the marriage ceremony before you did that. Okay, you had the ceremony first, and then you took the woman into the bedchamber. Okay, you put the stamp on that marriage. All right. That's what it means to be betrothed or espoused, right? In Luke, the 2nd chapter. Let's get that, and then we'll come right back to this. Let's go to Luke 2. And I'm going to start at verse 4. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea and unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, right? The seed line of David. It says to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. You see, they were Mary was espoused, meaning promised to Joseph. But what happened? She was pregnant. Okay, they laid together before the marriage ceremony. So they did it backwards. Because why? Because they couldn't wait. All right. So they had intercourse before the marriage ceremony, when the custom was to have the marriage ceremony, where you invite all the families, you have a big feast, you know what I'm saying? And then after the feast and the ceremony, then you take your wife in to the bedchamber, and then you do your thing. All right, so let's go back to Leviticus. Salakia. Deuteronomy 22. And verse 24 or 23, it says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not. And see, that's what happens if a woman that's engaged to another man, and she doesn't cry out, meaning she doesn't try to get away from it. She doesn't try to deny the act. Okay? Meaning that she wanted it. She wanted to lay with this man, even though she knew that she was engaged to another man. It says, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, right, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife, so shalt thou put away evil from among you. It says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, right, it says, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Why? Because it says, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. You see, she didn't want it. This is why the woman would be spared, because she tried to deny the fact. Okay? So this is just the law of what happens when a man seizes a woman, okay? But now the world calls it graping. All right, because that's what happened back in the day. You take hold of a woman. You see a woman. You tell her, hey, I think you're beautiful. And hey, I want to make you mine. Right, and then this is what happens. If she's already espoused and she doesn't cry out, meaning that she wants it, then they both get put to death. Right. If she's espoused and she cries out, meaning she tries to deny it, she tries to fight it, then she stays alive, but he gets put to death. Okay? But if a man sees a woman that's not betrothed or not engaged and he decides that he wants to make her his wife, then what happens? Now the man has to pay 50 shekels of silver. Because what? Because he humbled her. Now, and he can't put her away. All right? So it's a law for everything. Now, nobody's saying in Great Millstone that you can go out and you see a woman and you take advantage of her. No brother in GMS is about that, man. We just point out that there is a law about the situation that happens. Okay? So when a man sees a woman that's not married or not betrothed or engaged to another man and he wants to make her his wife, hey, he does what he has to do, and what? He has to pay the father 50 shekels of silver. And that was a lot of money. So it wasn't just regular Jakes going out there just seizing women, man. No, it wasn't like that. All right. So continuing on, another form of marriage is a male soldier and a prisoner of war. Okay. So just reading, it says, under Moses' command, Israelites kill every Midianite man, woman, and child. Right? Because why? The scripture says, the scripture talk about killing anything that pisses against the wall, meaning any man, right? And any woman. It was certain instances where you had women that were not married. You would take her and you would it's say pare her nails, meaning clip her nails, shave her head bald, right, and let her mourn for I believe it was 30 days, and then after that state of mourning, then you are allowed to take her to be your wife. Okay, that's what happened after war. And this is why after this war, which is what, World War III, right, and the war between Esau and Yahushua and the host of heaven, that the same thing is going to happen. Right? A lot of these men are going to perish. Right? The nation's men are going to perish. And what's going to happen? The Israelite man, after Yahushua establishes the kingdom of heaven, what's going to happen? The Israelite man is going to be able to take concubines and whatnot from other nations and have children with them. Why? Because those children will still be Israelites, because the nationality goes by the seed of the man. So it doesn't matter if an Israelite man takes an Edomite woman. That child will still be an Israelite. It don't matter if an Israelite man takes a Chinese woman. Right? That child will still be an Israelite. So this is what happened in the act of war. All right. It says wives must submit sexually to the new owners. All right. So that's what happened. You saw a woman that was fair. You say, hey, let's go. Because that's what it was, man. And we people don't understand the ancient ways of life, man. We've been brought up in a dumbed down society. A sensitive feminist society, man. That's built off emotions. Right? So this is why this is why the scriptures talk about seek ye the old paths in Jeremiah the 6th chapter. We're going back to the ancient customs. Right? But what do we do now? We still obey the laws of the land because we're still in Esau's system. But this is what's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. All right, and then you have another form of the last form of marriage is a male slave and a female slave. Okay, so you had servants and handmaids that had families and things like that. Okay, so a man could an Israelite man is going to be able to put two Moabites together, right? A Moabite man and a Moabite woman, and tell them to have children. Or whatever respective nationality whoever you have. All right, so this is all forms of marriage, man. Okay, even with Isaac, right? What happened with Isaac? Let's get that real quick, and we're gonna wrap it up in a second. Let's go to Genesis 24, and let's start at verse 1. And let's get the context. It says, and Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under thy thigh. Verse 3, it says, and I will make thee swear by Yahweh, the power of heaven and the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son, the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go into my country and to take into my kindred and take a wife unto my son Isaac. Okay, so this is Abraham put in charge to his servant to find a wife for his son Isaac. Right now, we would jump down to 63. It says, and Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming, because the servant found Rebekah, and he was bringing her back to Isaac. Verse 64, and Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. Because why? Because it was a form of humbleness, right? It was a form of respect for a woman to be covered. Nowadays, women prancing around with their boobs all out, ass hanging out they shorts, trying to show off they curves and no man is going to respect them, man. Because when you show off sexual objects, what's going to happen? All a man is going to want to do is have sex with you, and that's it. Because you have nothing else to offer. But when a woman is covered up, first off, it shows respect to her husband, right? And then second of all, it shows respect that she has some resemblance of respect for herself, right? So she took a veil and covered herself, right? And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And what happened? This is the form of marriage. And what happened? And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. You see, so what happened with Isaac and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah? They didn't have no conversation. They didn't have a discussion about, well, what's the plans for me? How many camels do you have? How much land do you have? Can you take care of me? Can you pay my bills? Put a ring on it. They ain't say none of that, man. When she got off the camel, what happened? Isaac took her into his mother's tent, and he had sex with her, and she became his wife. It wasn't no whole great ordeal. Okay, because sex is the consummation of marriage. You see? So this is why when we look at what marriage is biblically, it goes against everything that we've been taught in this world. Right? Because the world has taught our women to what? To you young. Go out and have fun. Look for a man when you in your mid-30s. Focus on your education. Focus on doing you. Be who you want to be. You in college. Go and have fun. Sleep who you want to sleep with. Right? But in the ancient times, women were raised to be women. I mean, to be wives. This is why when they were betrothed at an early age, because they were raised to serve their husbands. They were raised not to be whores. The scripture says in the law that there should be no whore among the daughters of Israel. Now being a whore is accepted. You got slut walks and, free the nipple and all this other stuff. When Proverbs 31 tells you how a woman should be, how a woman should behave. Right? And we're going to end it off in Isaiah, the 4th chapter. Because this was going to happen on this side. Right? A form of marriage. Okay? Isaiah 4:1, it says, and in that day, and what day is that? That's the day of Jacob's trouble. Okay, because women are going to realize that the lies that they were told and given and pumped up, they pumped them up off of Miss Independent. I can do good by myself. I can do bad by myself. Right? In that day, they're going to be lost. They're going to be undefended. And then what are they going to be doing? They're going to be looking for somebody to protect them. Because it's going to be all out lawlessness. There's not going to be 911. There's not going to be any police officers patrolling the street because they're going to be worried about taking care of their family. So with all the weirdos out here, I'm going to say the people with the spirits, you know what I'm saying, that's sitting back watching people or women online, right? They waiting for the day for that shit to come, man. Where they can go out and do what they want to do and not have to worry about a recompense, not have to worry about a judgment, getting arrested, thrown in jail. All right, it says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. Okay, 7 represents completion. Saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Our reproach is a disappointment, right? So it says let us be called by thy name. What is that? Taking on the last name of a man. And in order for a woman to take the last name of a man, what has to happen? Intercourse has to happen. That's what happens when you could say changing the guards, like what happened in the old days, right? When a woman left her father and his last name and joined to her husband and took on his last name. Now that's what it means to be called, to let us be called by thy name. All right. So 7 women, a complete about a women are going to take hold of one man. That's what's coming to Babylon the Great, man. Okay, and that's what's coming to the elect men. All right, so hey, Lord, when the session was edifying, I want to give all honor, glory, and infinite worship to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash Shalom Yom. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'll say Kwame Sharala, Mawat Babal, Shalom.